So everyone, I wanted to show you one of the projects that actually uses my UNRAID server for something. So this is one of the use cases I have for the server. So some of you may remember that I have various database systems installed on it. And the one that I'm going to be sort of demonstrating a little bit of the use is Neo4J. So this is a network database. So you can store information in a database as a network. So that's a sort of nodes and then relationships between the nodes, and then the nodes and edges can have attributes. And that's how the data is stored. I'll make a bit more sense in a minute. So the project I'm going to show you is one that I've called algorithmic indexing, and this is a sort of the very early stages of a project that's sort of been unfolding based on a kind of bringing together of aspects of my research. And what I'm interested in doing is allowing approaches to access sort of difficult data sets, basically. And one of them is I've been doing a sort of test case on a murder investigation, a Daniel Morgan murder investigation. And I've been doing some network visualizations of that investigation, and that's what you can see here. So this is a visualization that's lifted directly out of that Neo4J database. So all of the information is stored as nodes and then relationships between them. You can see different parts of the case here. And this is quite nice because I can visualize this using, this is 3D.js, and I can visualize it directly out of the database. So this web server is running on one of my computers, and then the database is running on the other. And when this updates, it loads data directly out of the database and renders it as this network. And you can see it color codes it as the types of nodes and things like that. And you can also do other things. So I've started doing a little bit of visualization based on what we call ego nets. So these are different actors in the database and their degree, which is the number of links that go into them. So you can click on different ones, and then you get a different network for each of those different actors. So the reason, I mean, you could do this relatively easily using static files. So you could have a different static file for each network, but obviously this is an ongoing project, and it's likely that the data in the database will change. And so what's rather nice about having this is that UNRAID in the background is running the database server, which I can update using the normal kind of Neo4J interfaces. And then it can use all the resources available on my system, which at the minute are fairly underutilized, as you can see. And then any changes that are made in the database are reflected in the visualization automatically, because it's obviously reads it straight out of the data. And then the sort of processing power used to generate the database or manage the database is separated from the web server as well. And that's useful because obviously, well, for a start, that web server does other things, and running a sort of perhaps a fairly sort of heavy load on the databases would perhaps slow it down. So yeah, this is quite nice. I'm quite pleased with how well I've managed to actually get the visualizations to work. I'll post a blog about the actual code and things like that, because it did take a little bit of fiddling to get it to work. It's a mixture of PHP and JavaScript. So PHP loads the data out of the database, and then JavaScript renders it. You can read directly from JavaScript, read from the database directly with JavaScript. But because JavaScript's client side, obviously, if they're having different servers, they would both have to be available on the internet, which is not ideal for my use case. I prefer to keep the UNRAID server one step off the internet. So that's it. I hope you find it interesting, and I'll put the links below, and you can have a play with the different network visualizations of this data. Okay, thank you very much, and I will see you in the next video.